In '94, Jimmy Carter went, and it was another very difficult time where there were, it was a kind of a nuclear standoff again, and he was able to put things in the right direction. So that might be happening this time. Nobody really knows how it will end, but you'd have to say it's striking. You know, I'm looking at those pictures. It is really striking to think that a week ago, the North Koreans were criticizing Bill Clinton's wife, who happens to be the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, in this kind of back and forth insult hurling. And now we have former presidents sitting there with Kim Jong-un. It's quite dramatic.
Yeah, we remember her being called a funny lady by the North Korean regime. Right. Jill, do we know how much negotiation might have gone on before Bill Clinton actually touched down? Any chance this could already have been a done deal?
It was, actually, as far as we can tell, because as I was beginning to say, there was a lot of this kind of pre-story happening where there were certain candidates to go to North Korea. One was Bill Richardson, Governor Bill Richardson. Another one was Al Gore, because after all, these two journalists do work for Current TV, which is the media outlet that Al Gore started. And then also you had John Kerry, Senator John Kerry. He was definitely a prospect, and he in fact was talking with the North Koreans. And then finally Bill Clinton. We didn't hear a lot about Bill Clinton, but he was very much in the running, and it was determined that he would be the best, a non-official person to go.
And just to clear something up, do we know if there was any actual talking with the North Koreans about releasing these two journalists before they would send Bill Clinton? In other words, give us some assurance that that is going to happen, and then we'll send our big gun Bill Clinton over and have a nice photo op?
That's the part that is not known really specifically, but I think you can surmise that the former president of the United States is not going to make this really high-profile mission unless he had a very good sense that something was going to work out. It would be very embarrassing if he went and it didn't work. But that said, North Korea can be, I've traveled there, North Korea can be a very unpredictable place. Some officials who have gone there from the United States don't really know what's going to happen, who they will meet with, what will transpire. So there's always that element of unpredictability, but you'd have to say that this was probably looking good, and there was some type of assurance before he left.
Very interesting to hear the story behind the story of that one. Jill Doherty, thanks so much. And want to let you know that we are currently monitoring today's State Department briefing, of course listening out for any new developments on the captive journalist we were just speaking about there in North Korea. Also the students, the backpackers who were detained in Iran for allegedly illegally crossing the border there. Let's have a listen.
Part of the country, you know, I mean, it would seem to lend credence to what Secretary Clinton alluded to last week in Asia when she said there was some troubling evidence of nuclear links.
Mark, the best thing I can tell you is, look, first of all, we wouldn't get into any type of discussion about intelligence reports from the podium, but as the Secretary expressed before, we are concerned about any possible military links between North Korea and Burma, and that concern still remains, but I really can't go beyond that because it would be getting into intelligence.
Good. The meeting in Hawaii with Sung Kim, do you have any preview of that meeting?
I don't have any update. I know that Sung Kim is there and will be there tomorrow for discussions with his counterparts from the Republic of Korea government, but I don't have any readout yet of those discussions. We'll be happy to try to get you a readout once he's begun.
There won't be any North Korean officials?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is he going to the region after that?
I don't believe so. I think he's coming back to Washington. Yes.
What's your comment on the two detained journalists in North Korea? There will be back? Yeah.
I think you just heard. I don't have anything to add to what the White House has said.
Could you give some idea of how deeply you're looking into the U.S. government is looking into this report about the Burmese? Are they being questioned? Are they being asked?
About which Burmese you're talking about?
About the tunnels.
The nuclear reactor.
Nuclear reactor.
No, I don't want to get into much more detail than I already have on this issue, but it is an issue of concern to us. We're obviously looking into these types of reports, but I just don't want to go beyond what we've said on that. Yes, ma'am.
All right, you've been listening to a slightly cagey State Department briefing. Of course, the conversation focusing on both the 3 hikers who are currently being detained in Iran after allegedly crossing the border from Iraqi Kurdistan. Also, Bill Clinton's mission to North Korea in an effort to free the 2 reporters who are currently being held there, Una Lee and I was going to say Laura Ling.
It's confusing.
And they obviously were arrested, tried, and now sentenced to 12 years of hard labor in that country.
Yeah, so that's still available to the right of the video player if you want to click on one of the alternate streams. We're going to move on here, though.
We're going to get to some comments from you. We've been asking, why do you think Bill Clinton was the one sent to North Korea, and can he pull it off?
Let's see what Casey has to say from Facebook. Quite frankly, I don't care. The 2 of them should rot in jail. Oh, my. At least for a few years. Maybe then they'll think twice before they selfishly compromise any leverage the entire U.S. has with North Korea. Idiots.
Casey obviously feeling very strongly there. Let's move on to Alex, who offers a counterpoint. I do believe he can pull it off. I think Clinton is one person who has the capacity to solve this problem. He will be able to bring them back. The press needs to cover the news and keep us aware of what is happening around the world. The journalists deserve to be respected.
Albert writes in, I believe he was sent there because he has some influence. Being a former president, that will stroke the ego of Kim Jong-il and perhaps sway him to make a deal now that he has gotten sufficient international attention on this situation. Hopefully, this will be a sufficient gesture to influence Kim to release these 2 reporters and still be able to posture for the folks back home.
And let's wrap things up with Angie, who writes, I think so. He's brilliant, charismatic, knows how to talk with people, not to. He's sincere, he's liked. People don't hide when they know he's coming to town. I think the North Korean people like him. He makes things easy. Carter would not be the one for this, although he is a good person, too. I want to thank Angie and everybody for writing in and sharing your thoughts on this. Okay, guys, if you have ever been tempted to stray, this may make you think twice. In Wisconsin, a man was reportedly cheating on his wife with 3 other women. All 4 found out and allegedly lured him to a hotel for payback. Police say they tied him up, and one is accused of using crazy glue to adhere his genitals to his stomach.